which is Azure Virtual Machine, VM. Here are your options. 1. A storage service in Azure. 2. A scalable web hosting platform. 3. A virtualized computing environment in the cloud. 4. An AI service for machine learning. The correct answer is a virtualized computing environment in the cloud. How can you create an Azure virtual machine? Here are your options. 1. Only through Azure Portal. 2. Using Azure CLI and PowerShell. 3. Using Azure Resource Manager, ARM, templates. 4. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. Which is the purpose of Azure Availability Sets? Here are your options. 1. To improve network security for VMs. 2. To distribute VMs across fault domains for high availability. 3. To manage Azure subscription billing. 4. To automate VM backups. The correct answer is to distribute VMs across fault domains for high availability. Which is Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets used for? Here are your options. 1. Creating a group of interconnected VMs. 2. Ensuring high availability of VMs. 3. Automatically scaling a set of identical VMs. 4. Managing VM backups. The correct answer is automatically scaling a set of identical VMs. What are managed disks in Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. Virtual disks mounted as network drives. 2. Locally attached disks to physical servers. 3. Disks that are automatically managed by Azure. 4. External USB drives connected to Azure VMs. The correct answer is disks that are automatically managed by Azure. How can you secure an Azure virtual machine? Here are your options. 1. By using Azure Resource Manager, ARM, templates. 2. By configuring network security groups, NSGs. 3. By enabling Azure Backup. 4. By installing third-party antivirus software. The correct answer is by configuring network security groups, NSGs. Which is the purpose of Azure VM extension? Here are your options. 1. To extend the trial period of Azure VMs. 2. To install additional software on VMs. 3. To increase VM storage capacity. 4. To improve VM network performance. The correct answer is to install additional software on VMs. How do you resize an Azure virtual machine? Here are your options. 1. By creating a new VM and deleting the old one. 2. By modifying the VM size property in Azure Portal. 3. Resizing is not possible in Azure VMs. 4. By running a special resizing command in PowerShell. The correct answer is by modifying the VM size property in Azure Portal. Which is the role of Azure VM Agent? Here are your options. 1. To monitor network traffic of VMs. 2. To perform automated backups. 3. To install and manage extensions on VMs. 4. To manage Azure subscription billing. The correct answer is to install and manage extensions on VMs. Which is the purpose of Azure reserved VM instances? Here are your options. 1. To reserve a specific public IP address for a VM. 2. To reserve a specific VM size for future use. 3. To optimize costs by committing to a 1 or 3-year term. 4. To guarantee high availability of VMs. The correct answer is to optimize costs by committing to a 1 or 3-year term. What are the benefits of using Azure Virtual Machine scale sets? Here are your options. 1. Improved network security. 2. Automatic scaling for high availability. 3. Lower subscription costs. 4. Faster VM deployment. The correct answer is automatic scaling for high availability. How does Azure handle VM backups, and what options are available? Here are your options. 1. Azure Backup Service, with options for full and incremental backups. 2. Automatic daily backups with no user intervention. 3. Backup is not available for Azure VMs. 4. Using Azure VPN for backup synchronization. The correct answer is Azure Backup Service, with options for full and incremental backups. Explain the role of Azure Load Balancer in the context of Azure VMs. Here are your options. 1. Distributes network traffic across multiple VMs to ensure optimal performance. 2. Monitors and optimizes VM storage. 3. Ensures high availability of VM backups. 4. Manages VM extension deployment. The correct answer is distributes network traffic across multiple VMs to ensure optimal performance. How can you automate the deployment of Azure VMs using Azure Resource Manager, ARM, templates? Here are your options. 1. By using a manual deployment process in the Azure portal. 2. By running a special PowerShell command. 3. By creating a custom ARM template and deploying it through Azure portal. 4. Automation is not possible with ARM templates. The correct answer is by creating a custom ARM template and deploying it through Azure portal. What is the purpose of Azure VM image? Here are your options. 1. To store personal images and files. 2. To capture and replicate a VM configuration for reuse. 3. To create a snapshot of the entire Azure subscription. 4. To compress and store VM backups. The correct answer is to capture and replicate a VM configuration for reuse. How does Azure handle VM updates and patches? Here are your options. 1. Manual intervention is required for updates. 2. Updates are automatically applied during VM creation. 3. Azure VMs are not updated or patched. 4. Azure Update Management allows for automated updates and patching. The correct answer is Azure Update Management allows for automated updates and patching. What is the key difference between Azure VMs and Azure Virtual Machine scale sets? Here are your options. 1. VMs are more cost-effective. 2. Scale sets are used for high performance workloads. 3. VMs are manually scaled, while scale sets provide automatic scaling. 4. Scale sets are only suitable for small-scale applications. The correct answer is VMs are manually scaled, while scale sets provide automatic scaling. How can you connect to an Azure VM for remote management? Here are your options. 1. Through a direct physical connection to the Azure data center. 2. Using a VPN connection. 3. By leveraging the Azure Bastion service. 4. Remote management is not possible for Azure VMs. The correct answer is by leveraging the Azure Bastion service. Explain the concept of Azure Spot VMs and their use cases. Here are your options. 1. VMs that automatically spin down during periods of low usage. 2. VMs with a fixed pricing model. 3. VMs with enhanced security features. 4. Short-lived, cost-effective VMs suitable for batch processing and workloads with flexible timing requirements. The correct answer is short-lived, cost-effective VMs suitable for batch processing and workloads with flexible timing requirements. What are the considerations for choosing the right VM size in Azure? Here are your options. 1. Only the number of CPU cores. 2. Only the amount of memory, RAM. 3. CPU, memory, disk I/O, and network bandwidth. 4. Only the type of operating system. The correct answer is CPU, memory, disk I/O, and network bandwidth. What is the difference between Azure Virtual Machines, VMs, and Azure App Services? Here are your options. 1. VMs are used for hosting web applications, while app services are for general-purpose computing. 2. VMs provide a scalable platform for deploying virtualized applications, while app services are limited to web applications. 3. There is no significant difference. Both can be used interchangeably for any type of application. 4. App services are only suitable for small-scale applications, while VMs are for large-scale enterprise solutions. The correct answer is VMs provide a scalable platform for deploying virtualized applications, while app services are limited to web applications. How do you connect to an Azure Virtual Machine? Here are your options. 1. Using only Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, for Windows VMs and Secure Shell, SSH, for Linux VMs. 2. Connecting is not possible, as Azure VMs are fully isolated. 3. Using Azure Portal only. 4. Using various methods, including Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, Secure Shell, SSH, and Azure Bastion. The correct answer is using various methods, including Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, Secure Shell, SSH, and Azure Bastion. What is the purpose of Azure Bastion? Here are your options. 1. To provide an additional layer of security for Azure VMs. 2. To act as a centralized management console for all Azure resources. 3. To enable remote desktop access to Azure VMs without exposing them to the public internet. 4. To automate the deployment of VMs using predefined templates. The correct answer is to enable remote desktop access to Azure VMs without exposing them to the public internet. Explain the concept of Azure VM Custom Script Extension. Here are your options. 1. A tool for customizing the appearance of the Azure portal. 2. An extension to run custom scripts on Azure VMs during deployment. 3. An extension for automatically updating Azure VM operating systems. 4. A feature for extending the trial period of Azure VMs. The correct answer is an extension to run custom scripts on Azure VMs during deployment. What are Azure Spot Virtual Machines, and how are they different from regular VMs? Here are your options. 1. Azure Spot VMs are free trial VMs, and regular VMs are paid. 2. Azure Spot VMs are short-lived, low-priority instances with cost savings. while regular VMs are standard on-demand instances. 3. There is no difference between Azure Spot VMs and regular VMs. 4. Azure Spot VMs are for development purposes only, while regular VMs are for production. The correct answer is Azure Spot VMs are short-lived, low-priority instances with cost savings, while regular VMs are standard, on-demand instances. How can you monitor and diagnose performance issues in Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. By reviewing the Azure subscription billing reports. 2. By using Azure Log Analytics and Azure Monitor. 3. By manually checking the event logs on each VM. 4. By contacting Azure support for assistance. The correct answer is by using Azure Log Analytics and Azure Monitor. What is the purpose of Azure VM image, and how can it be used? Here are your options. 1. An image for creating custom Azure portal backgrounds. 2. A snapshot of a VM used for backup purposes. 3. An image for deploying virtual machines with pre-configured software and settings. 4. An image for enhancing the performance of Azure VMs. The correct answer is a snapshot of a VM used for backup purposes. How do you automate the deployment of Azure Virtual Machines using Azure Resource Manager? Templates. Here are your options. 1. By manually configuring each VM individually. 2. By using third-party automation tools only. 3. By running a series of complex PowerShell scripts. 4. By defining the infrastructure and configuration in a JSON template file. The correct answer is by defining the infrastructure and configuration in a JSON template file. What is the difference between an Azure Virtual Machine and an Azure Virtual Machine scale set? Here are your options. 1. VMs can scale automatically, but scale sets cannot. 2. Scale sets can scale automatically, but VMs cannot. 3. VMs and scale sets are the same thing. 4. VMs are used for development, while scale sets are for production. The correct answer is scale sets can scale automatically, but VMs cannot. How can you connect to an Azure Virtual Machine? Here are your options. 1. Using a physical USB cable. 2. Through a dedicated VPN connection only. 3. Using Remote Desktop Protocol (RDP) or Secure Shell (SSH). 4. By physically accessing the Azure Data Center. The correct answer is using Remote Desktop Protocol (RDP) or Secure Shell (SSH). What is the purpose of Azure Dev Test Labs? Here are your options. 1. To run performance tests on production VMs. 2. To create and manage environments for development and testing. 3. To optimize costs by reducing the number of VMs. 4. To automate backups of Azure VMs. The correct answer is to create and manage environments for development and testing. How does Azure handle VM backups? Here are your options. 1. Automatically backs up VMs every hour. 2. Requires manual backup by the user. 3. Backups are not available for Azure VMs. 4. Uses Azure Backup to schedule and manage backups. The correct answer is uses Azure Backup to schedule and manage backups. What is the purpose of Azure Blueprints? Here are your options. 1. To create custom VM images. 2. To deploy and manage governed environments. 3. To automate VM backups. 4. To monitor VM performance. The correct answer is to deploy and manage governed environments. Explain the concept of Azure Spot VMs. Here are your options. 1. Virtual machines with spotlights on top. 2. Short-lived VMs used for temporary workloads at a lower cost. 3. VMs reserved for specific projects. 4. VMs with specialized hardware for gaming. The correct answer is short-lived VMs used for temporary workloads at a lower cost. What is the purpose of Azure IoT Hub in the context of Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. To manage Internet of Things. IoT. Devices connected to VMs. 2. To monitor VM performance. 3. To automate VM backups. 4. To enhance VM security. The correct answer is to manage Internet of Things, IoT, devices connected to VMs. What is the role of Azure Monitor in the context of Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. To track the location of VMs in real time. 2. To collect and analyze telemetry data from Azure VMs. 3. To manage Azure subscription billing. 4. To perform automated backups of VMs. The correct answer is to collect and analyze telemetry data from Azure VMs. What are Azure reserved VM instances, and how do they benefit users? Here are your options. 1. Pre-configured VM instances for quick deployment. 2. Discounted VM pricing for committing to a 1 or 3-year term. 3. VM instances with reserved IP addresses. 4. Automatically scaled VM instances based on demand. The correct answer is discounted VM pricing for committing to a 1 or 3-year term. Explain the concept of Azure VM image and how it is used in VM deployment. Here are your options. 1. A snapshot of a running VM used for quick redeployment. 2. A template for creating new VM instances with pre-configured settings. 3. An image capturing the physical appearance of a VM. 4. An image used for sharing VM configurations between Azure subscriptions. The correct answer is a template for creating new VM instances with pre-configured settings. How can you implement high availability for Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By using Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets. 2. By creating multiple VMs in different regions. 3. By configuring automatic daily backups. 4. High availability is not possible in Azure VMs. The correct answer is by using Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets. What is the role of Azure Bastion in connecting to Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. A tool for managing VM security groups. 2. A service for connecting to VMs securely without exposing public IPs. 3. A backup solution for VM credentials. 4. An extension for scaling VM resources. The correct answer is a service for connecting to VMs securely without exposing public IPs. How does Azure manage and distribute network traffic for virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. Azure Load Balancer. 2. Azure Virtual Network. 3. Azure Traffic Manager. 4. Azure VPN Gateway. The correct answer is Azure Load Balancer. What are the advantages of using Azure Managed Disks over unmanaged disks? Here are your options. 1. Managed disks offer lower storage costs. 2. Managed disks are more suitable for high-performance workloads. 3. Managed disks automatically handle storage account management. 4. There are no advantages. Both types of disks are the same. The correct answer is managed disks automatically handle storage account management. How can you automate the deployment of Azure Virtual Machines using PowerShell? Here are your options. 1. By sending physical deployment teams to Azure data centers. 2. By manually configuring VMs through the Azure portal. 3. By using Azure Resource Manager. Templates. 4. By writing handwritten letters to request VM deployments. The correct answer is by using Azure Resource Manager, templates. What is the purpose of Azure DevOps in the context of Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. To automate the creation of VM instances. 2. To manage VM backups and restore operations. 3. To provide a set of development tools for building and deploying applications. 4. To monitor VM performance in real time. The correct answer is to provide a set of development tools for building and deploying applications. How can you enforce organizational standards and compliance for Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. By using Azure Policy. 2. By enabling Azure Security Center. 3. By creating custom VM images. 4. By running manual security scans on VMs. The correct answer is by using Azure Policy. Explain the role of Azure Key Vault in the context of Azure Virtual Machines. Here are your options. 1. To store and manage sensitive information like secrets and encryption keys. 2. To automatically generate VM passwords. 3. To provide a secure physical location for VM backups. 4. To manage VM billing information. The correct answer is to store and manage sensitive information like secrets and encryption keys. What is the role of network security groups, NSGs, in Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. To create and manage virtual networks for VMs. 2. To define rules that control inbound and outbound network traffic to VMs. 3. To automatically scale VM instances based on demand. 4. To store and manage VM authentication information. The correct answer is to define rules that control inbound and outbound network traffic to VMs. How can you secure communication between Azure Virtual Machines and on-premises networks? Here are your options. 1. By disabling all network communication. 2. By using Azure Traffic Manager. 3. By configuring Azure Virtual Network. 4. By establishing a VPN or express route connection. The correct answer is by establishing a VPN or express route connection. Explain the purpose of Azure Resource Manager, templates in VM deployment. Here are your options. 1. To manage billing and subscription information. 2. To automate the deployment of VM instances. 3. To provide a visual representation of VM configurations. 4. To store VM backup data. The correct answer is to automate the deployment of VM instances. What is the significance of Azure Virtual Machine extensions? Here are your options. 1. To extend the trial period of Azure VMs. 2. To install additional software and configure settings on VMs. 3. To increase VM storage capacity. 4. To improve VM network performance. The correct answer is to install additional software and configure settings on VMs. How do Azure Virtual Machine scale sets contribute to application availability? Here are your options. 1. By preventing VMs from scaling automatically. 2. By distributing VM instances across fault domains. 3. By manually resizing VM instances. 4. By isolating VMs in a dedicated network. The correct answer is by distributing VM instances across fault domains. What is the purpose of Azure automation in the context of virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. To automate the creation of VM images. 2. To manage VM backups. 3. To automate routine maintenance and administrative tasks on VMs. 4. To monitor VM performance. The correct answer is to automate routine maintenance and administrative tasks on VMs. Explain the concept of Azure Dev Test Labs and its benefits for developers. Here are your options. 1. A testing environment for physical hardware. 2. A platform for running performance tests on production VMs. 3. A service for managing environments for development and testing. 4. A tool for optimizing VM costs. The correct answer is a service for managing environments for development and testing. How can you perform resizing of an Azure virtual machine? Here are your options. 1. By creating a new VM and deleting the old one. 2. By modifying the VM size property in Azure portal. 3. Resizing is not possible in Azure VMs. 4. By adjusting the VM's screen resolution. The correct answer is by modifying the VM size property in Azure portal. How does Azure handle automatic scaling in virtual machine scale sets? Here are your options. 1. By requiring manual intervention for scaling. 2. By adjusting VM sizes only. 3. By automatically adjusting the number of VM instances based on demand. 4. Azure does not support automatic scaling. The correct answer is by automatically adjusting the number of VM instances based on demand. What is the purpose of Azure Virtual Machine extensions, and give an example of their use? Here are your options. 1. To install additional software and configure VMs post-deployment. 2. To scale VM resources dynamically. 3. To connect VMs to on-premises networks. 4. To encrypt VM storage. The correct answer is to install additional software and configure VMs post-deployment. How can you implement custom scripts during the deployment of Azure virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. By using Azure PowerShell only. 2. By running scripts manually after VM deployment. 3. By leveraging the Azure VM custom script extension. 4. By embedding scripts directly in the Azure portal. The correct answer is by leveraging the Azure VM custom script extension. Explain the concept of Azure reserved IP addresses and their significance for VMs. Here are your options. 1. Static IP addresses automatically assigned to VMs. 2. Dynamic IP addresses used for VM communication. 3. IP addresses reserved for future VM deployments. 4. There is no concept of reserved IP addresses in Azure. The correct answer is static IP addresses automatically assigned to VMs. What is the purpose of the Azure Bastion service in the context of VM management? Here are your options. 1. To manage VM backups. 2. To provide a secure way to connect to VMs over RDP or SSH. 3. To automatically scale VM resources. 4. To optimize VM storage usage. The correct answer is to provide a secure way to connect to VMs over RDP or SSH. How does Azure handle virtual machine snapshots, and what is their significance? Here are your options. 1. Snapshots are automatically created every hour. 2. Snapshots are manual backups taken by users. 3. Azure does not support virtual machine snapshots. 4. Snapshots are automatically created during VM deployment. The correct answer is snapshots are manual backups taken by users. What is the purpose of Azure Hybrid Benefit, and how does it impact VM costs? Here are your options. 1. To provide free Azure training for hybrid environments. 2. To allow users to bring their own licenses for Windows Server or SQL Server. 3. To integrate VMs with on-premises databases seamlessly. 4. To reduce VM storage costs by 50%. The correct answer is to allow users to bring their own licenses for Windows Server or SQL Server. How can you troubleshoot performance issues in Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By contacting Azure Customer Support. 2. By running a manual health check on VMs. 3. By using Azure Monitor to collect and analyze telemetry data. 4. By disabling unnecessary VM extensions. The correct answer is by using Azure Monitor to collect and analyze telemetry data. What are Azure Spot VMs, and in what scenarios might you use them? Here are your options. 1. VMs with spotlight effects for visual appeal. 2. Low priority VMs with a significantly lower cost. Suitable for fault-tolerant workloads. 3. VMs reserved for special events. 4. VMs designed for high-performance computing. The correct answer is low-priority VMs with a significantly lower cost. Suitable for fault-tolerant workloads. Explain the purpose of Azure policy in the context of VM management. Here are your options. 1. To manage VM billing information. 2. To enforce organizational standards and compliance for VM configurations. 3. To optimize VM storage. 4. To provide a secure connection to VMs. The correct answer is to enforce organizational standards and compliance for VM configurations. How can you optimize costs when using Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By always choosing the largest VM size available. 2. By using reserved VM instances. 3. By manually scaling VM resources daily. 4. By avoiding Azure Virtual Machine scale sets. The correct answer is by using reserved VM instances. What is the difference between a standard and a basic Azure Virtual Machine? Here are your options. 1. Basic VMs are free, while standard VMs come with additional features. 2. Standard VMs offer better performance and more features than basic VMs. 3. Basic VMs are designed for development, while standard VMs are for production. 4. There is no difference. The terms are used interchangeably. The correct answer is standard VMs offer better performance and more features than basic VMs. How do you configure network security for an Azure Virtual Machine? Here are your options. 1. By setting up a personal firewall on the VM. 2. By configuring network security groups, NSGs. 3. By encrypting network traffic using SSL. 4. By using Azure Traffic Manager. The correct answer is by configuring network security groups, NSGs. What is the purpose of Azure Hybrid Benefit in the context of Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. To provide free VM instances for hybrid cloud deployments. 2. To allow VMs to seamlessly switch between Azure and other cloud providers. 3. To extend on-premises Windows Server licenses to Azure VMs. 4. To enable hybrid cloud storage for VMs. The correct answer is to extend on-premises Windows Server licenses to Azure VMs. Explain the concept of Azure Disk Encryption for virtual machines. Here are your options. 1. A service for resizing VM disks on the fly. 2. An extension for managing disk encryption keys. 3. A feature for encrypting the OS and data disks of VMs. 4. A tool for creating backup copies of VM disks. The correct answer is a feature for encrypting the OS and data disks of VMs. What is the purpose of the Azure VM Health extension? Here are your options. 1. To monitor the overall health of Azure subscriptions. 2. To diagnose and automatically fix common issues in VMs. 3. To track the physical health of the underlying VM hardware. 4. To provide fitness tips for VM users. The correct answer is to diagnose and automatically fix common issues in VMs. How does Azure handle automatic updates for virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. Azure VMs never receive automatic updates. 2. Updates are manually triggered by VM users. 3. Azure automatically installs required updates during a maintenance window. 4. VMs need to be shut down for updates to be applied. The correct answer is Azure automatically installs required updates during a maintenance window. What is the purpose of Azure Spot VMs, and when would you use them? Here are your options. 1. VMs with spotlight effects for visual appeal. 2. VMs designed for running resource-intensive workloads. 3. VMs with pre-allocated resource reservations. 4. Short-lived VMs for temporary Cost-effective workloads. The correct answer is short-lived VMs for temporary, cost-effective workloads. Explain the concept of Azure VM user-defined routes. Here are your options. 1. Custom routes created by Azure administrators for VMs. 2. Routes defined by VM users to optimize network traffic. 3. Automatically generated routes based on VM usage patterns. 4. Routes defined by Azure for VMs to communicate with each other. The correct answer is custom routes created by Azure administrators for VMs. What is the purpose of Azure VM reserved IPs, and how are they configured? Here are your options. 1. Reserved IPs ensure static public IP addresses for VMs. 2. Reserved IPs are used to prioritize VM access. 3. Reserved IPs provide additional security layers for VMs. 4. Azure VMs do not support reserved IPs. The correct answer is reserved IPs ensure static public IP addresses for VMs. Explain the significance of Azure VM extensions in VM configuration. Here are your options. 1. Extensions control the physical size of VMs. 2. Extensions enable communication between VMs. 3. Extensions enhance VM capabilities and functionality. 4. VM extensions are used for VM backups only. The correct answer is extensions enhance VM capabilities and functionality. What is the role of Azure Resource Manager, ARM, in managing Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. ARM manages physical deployment teams for VMs. 2. ARM is responsible for automatic VM scaling. 3. ARM provides templates and orchestration for VM deployments. 4. ARM is used for real-time monitoring of VM performance. The correct answer is ARM provides templates and orchestration for VM deployments. How can you optimize costs for Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By selecting the smallest VM size available. 2. By using Azure reserved VM instances. 3. By disabling all VM extensions. 4. Optimizing costs is not possible for Azure VMs. The correct answer is by using Azure reserved VM instances. What is Azure Accelerated Networking, and how does it benefit VM performance? Here are your options. 1. It is a feature to speed up VM deployment. 2. It is a service for managing network traffic to VMs. 3. Accelerated networking improves VM network throughput and latency. 4. It is a tool for securing VM network connections. The correct answer is accelerated networking improves VM network throughput and latency. What is the purpose of Azure Virtual Network Peering? Here are your options. 1. To synchronize VM data across multiple regions. 2. To connect VMs to an on-premises network. 3. Virtual network peering is not a feature in Azure. 4. To establish communication between two Azure virtual networks. The correct answer is to establish communication between two Azure virtual networks. Explain the concept of Azure Hybrid benefit for Windows Server. Here are your options. 1. It allows running Windows Server VMs on Azure at a lower cost. 2. It is a tool for connecting Azure VMs to on-premises servers. 3. It provides free Windows Server licenses for on-premises usage. 4. It is a feature exclusively for Linux-based VMs. The correct answer is it allows running Windows Server VMs on Azure at a lower cost. What is the purpose of the Azure Serial Console for virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. To remotely control VMs using a serial connection. 2. To access VM data using a serial interface. 3. Serial console is not applicable for Azure VMs. 4. To troubleshoot VM connectivity issues. The correct answer is to troubleshoot VM connectivity issues. How can you enable diagnostic logging for Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By installing third-party logging software. 2. Diagnostic logging is automatically enabled for all VMs. 3. By configuring Azure Monitor. 4. By disabling all VM extensions. The correct answer is by configuring Azure Monitor. Explain the concept of Azure Shared Image Gallery and its role in VM deployment. Here are your options. 1. It is a gallery of shared images for easy VM deployment. 2. It allows sharing VMs across different Azure subscriptions. 3. Shared Image Gallery is not a feature in Azure. 4. It provides a platform for sharing VM backups. The correct answer is it is a gallery of shared images for easy VM deployment. What is the primary purpose of Azure Virtual Network in the context of virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. To optimize VM performance. 2. To secure VM backups. 3. To isolate and securely connect Azure resources. 4. To manage VM billing information. The correct answer is to isolate and securely connect Azure resources. How does Azure VM extension differ from custom scripts? Here are your options. 1. VM extension and custom scripts are the same. 2. VM extension is for scaling VMs, while custom scripts are for automation. 3. VM extension is for installing and managing extensions, while custom scripts execute user-defined scripts. 4. VM extension is used for VM backups, while custom scripts are for monitoring. The correct answer is VM extension is for installing and managing extensions, while custom scripts execute user-defined scripts. Explain the concept of Azure Hybrid Benefit in the context of Azure VMs. Here are your options. 1. A discount on Azure VM pricing when using a combination of cloud and on-premises resources. 2. A tool for optimizing VM performance. 3. A feature for automating VM backups. 4. A service for managing VM billing information. The correct answer is a discount on Azure VM pricing when using a combination of cloud and on-premises resources. What is the role of Azure Traffic Manager in the context of Azure VMs? Here are your options. 1. To distribute network traffic across multiple servers. 2. To manage VM backups. 3. To isolate and secure VMs. 4. To automate VM deployments. The correct answer is to distribute network traffic across multiple servers. How do you ensure secure communication with Azure Virtual Machines? Here are your options. 1. By using plain HTTP for all communication. 2. By configuring network security groups, NSGs. 3. By disabling encryption for better performance. 4. By exposing VMs directly to the public internet. The correct answer is by configuring network security groups, NSGs. What is the purpose of Azure Blob Storage in the context of virtual machines? Here are your options. 1. To store VM backups. 2. To provide scalable object storage for unstructured data. 3. To manage VM billing information. 4. To optimize VM performance. The correct answer is to provide scalable object storage for unstructured data. How does Azure Virtual Machine resizing impact the VM's performance? Here are your options. 1. Resizing has no impact on performance. 2. Resizing always improves performance. 3. Resizing may impact performance, and it should be monitored. 4. Resizing degrades performance temporarily. The correct answer is resizing may impact performance, and it should be monitored.